Breaking news on KGW News at 11.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Dan Haggerty. That breaking news, former President George H.W. Bush has died at the age of 94. The 41st president and father of the 43rd president passed away tonight, less than a year after his beloved wife of 73 years, Barbara. His public service spanned decades, from serving in World War II to the presidency and after. NBC's Dan Sheneman looks back now at his life and legacy.
I can report to the nation, aggression is defeated, the war is over.
George Bush's greatest victory was the Allied victory over Iraq in the Gulf War. It was the peak of a long career marked by high standing in the political and business arenas. Born into wealth and privilege, the son of a U.S. Senator, Bush still joined the Navy on his 18th birthday and became its youngest pilot during World War II, winning the Distinguished Flying Cross after being shot down over the Pacific Ocean. Following the war, Bush married Barbara Pierce, entered Yale University, and after graduating moved his young family to Texas, where he was elected to the House of Representatives but lost 2 bids to be a U.S. Senator. He did, however, succeed in several high-level appointments, including director of the CIA.
We want Bush!
Following a failed effort at the Republican nomination in 1980, he was named Ronald Reagan's running mate. Then, in 1988, Bush decisively defeated Michael Dukakis for the presidency.
I, George Herbert.
But a faltering economy shook American faith in Bush. That led to losing re-election in 1992 to Democratic challenger Bill Clinton. Bush headed back to Houston, devoting time to his presidential library and staying active, even parachuting from an airplane on his birthdays. He saw 2 sons become governors, and he looked on as George W. became the 43rd president. The son would call on the father to join forces with Bill Clinton to raise humanitarian aid for victims of the Indonesian tsunami in 2004 and in 2005 for Hurricane Katrina. In 2010, President Obama honored Bush with the Presidential Medal of Freedom for a life of service to his country that by that time spanned nearly 7 decades. But the former president suffered heartbreak when Barbara, his wife of 73 years, passed away. He mourned with family, friends, and former presidents. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
And tonight, one of those former presidents, his son, George W. Bush, releasing a statement saying in part, George H.W. Bush was a man of the highest character and the best dad a son or daughter could ask for. The entire Bush family is deeply grateful for 41's life and love, and for the compassion of those who have cared and prayed for Dad, and for the condolences of our friends and fellow citizens. The Bush family spokesperson said a funeral announcement will come soon. We, of course, will keep you updated as we learn more. Locally, we're following some breaking news of our own tonight of a reported shooting in the town of Welches, just west of Mount Hood. KGW's Catherine Cook just arrived on the scene. And Catherine, we understand one person has been injured. What can you tell us?
Well, Dan, I can tell you we just saw an ambulance leaving the scene with lights and sirens. We have not been able to confirm whether or not the man injured was shot, though we have heard reports of such an incident. I can also tell you that firefighters are here on scene. They tell me they're standing by in case anyone else is injured. Also here, several Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies, including one who has blocked the road here. East Welches Road, where we are on, is closed between Highway 26 and Salmon River Road. I can tell you that they are also asking neighbors to shelter in place. They tell me this is a very active situation. We also received a call into our newsroom from a woman who lives in the neighborhood around where this is happening. She says this is the second time this week there's been a major call out to the house where this situation is unfolding. I can tell you that several people have come through here trying to get to their homes in the area or trying to reach the resort at the mountain, which is just right behind us down the road, to give you an idea of where we are. But they've been turned away. Some of them are pretty frustrated. They just want to get home. But clearly this is a very serious situation. Again, Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies asking people to shelter in place. Whoever is responsible for whatever is unfolding tonight is still on the loose, and they don't want anyone else to get hurt. Dan, back to you.
Interesting. A lot of unanswered questions. We know you're out there working the story for us, though, Catherine. Thank you so much for the update. We're going to turn now to that long road of recovery after today's powerful earthquake in Alaska. State leaders there are saying it could take months now to fix all the roads that were damaged by that shaking today. We had a chance to talk tonight to a Vancouver man from Alaska. His relatives are there now dealing with all of that damage.
Said he's never experienced anything like that. I mean, it just, him and his wife were having coffee, and the way the house shook.
The quake hit at 8:30 this morning, shaking Ronnie Ramsey's brother's home.
They were immensely terrified. They were surprised that the house was still standing. It was just so bad.
Glass fell from shelves and pictures off the walls, much like this house. The shaking lasted a full minute. Video from a courtroom shows attorneys and spectators diving under desks. Across the area, roads buckled. Ramsey's family sent him these photos of the damage they saw.
My niece was driving down one of the roads that had fallen a little bit, and she ended up going off into the ditch, and somebody helped her out, and she made it home.
The U.S. Geological Survey says it was a magnitude 7 quake. Alaska's governor has made a disaster declaration as first responders work around the clock to make sure homes, businesses, and roads are safe. Ronnie's family is safe, though like many, they're without power.
A lot of people in Alaska, they're very self-sustaining, so in a situation like this, they're gonna get through it.
Wow, yeah, the damage is something to see, isn't it? And thankfully, after you see that, you have to take into consideration nobody was killed from those earthquakes, which is great. Ronnie says that his family felt today's quake and said it reminded them of the largest one to ever hit Alaska, which they also experienced, a 9.2 back in 1964. We have some new information for you tonight about a lockdown at Stoller Middle School in Beaverton. It lasted several hours, and it was scary for parents and students. Washington County Sheriff's deputies did give the all clear after a thorough search found nothing suspicious. The school went into lockdown around 12:30 this afternoon after multiple Beaverton School District officials received email threats directed at Stoller. The sheriff's office went room by room in that school. They checked for anything suspicious, found nothing. Students, though, were kept in the classrooms or even in closets until eventually being sent to the gym.
Everyone is texting our parents, and we thought someone was actually going to come in our school and do bad stuff, so we were all really freaked out at that point.
Once I knew he was safe, then of course, I'm relieved, but hearing him scared, hungry, kids going to the bathroom in garbage cans, their terror is, makes you upset as a parent.
Yeah, you said it right there, Mom, exactly. After deputies did clear that school, students could finally start leaving. That started around 4:45, so like 4 hours after it all began. Officials made sure that every student was reunited with the correct parent, the correct guardian, but that also took a while. So we talked to the district. They said all the kids finally made it home safely by about 8:15 tonight. A long day for everyone. It was a difficult and an emotional day for the Oregon Zoo. Lily, the youngest of the zoo's elephants, died last night from a virus, and she would have turned 6 today. Lily started to show signs of being sick on Wednesday. By Thursday, they said she was lethargic and didn't want to eat. It turned out to be a virus that most elephants do carry, but became active unexpectedly and is almost always deadly for young elephants. Today, zoo employees talked about how playful she was. Now, she always wanted to try new things.
The way she would play, you would be amazed at, we'd come in 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she'd be in the pool on a day like this. She would have her toys and she'd be throwing them on her back. You would see the adults just kind of watch her with amazement, like we do with our kids when they have all of that energy, and they just sit there and watch her run by and then come back again. I think it was her everyday personality that was really what made her so special.
Zoo veterinarians say that they plan to study what happened to Lily. They hope to eventually develop a type of vaccine for this disease. And to say that the zookeepers there were devastated would be an understatement, I think. The zoo was closed today. They canceled zoo lights tonight because of this, all to allow that staff to grieve. Now to a big milestone for the Kenton Women's Village, a big effort to help move that village onto its new property. KGW's Catherine Cook talked to 2 residents whose lives have changed dramatically since moving into sleeping pods.
in my yard, but I got to clean it.
18 months ago, Karen Zirkle moved off the street.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
And into a sleeping pod at Kenton Women's Village. Since then, every day's been special, especially this one.
Because I got my apartment today. I'm moving in my apartment. I got my keys. I got a bed. I got a couch. I mean, I got a bathtub. I have a bathtub.
Karen is the last of the original 14 residents of Kenton Women's Village and the 20th woman to transition into permanent housing.
It's absolutely critical. I mean, you know how it is when you're outside and you get cold and you can't warm up.
Rose Bach oversees Kenton Women's Village for Catholic Charities. What started as a pilot program is now getting a permanent home on city land just a block away. It'll house 20 women. The county will pay for running water and electricity, neither of which they have here. Trailhead Coffee Roasters is selling this special blend to raise money for space heaters for the pods.
I want some of that coffee, by the way. Where is it?
Cindy Easterly moved into the village last July.
These sleeping pods are a godsend.
She hopes one day to follow in Karen's footsteps and into permanent housing.
Anyone on the street has been through a lot of trauma, but women especially.
And for them to move into their own apartments is often just a dream come true, because many women don't think that that's going to happen.
If anyone knows that, it's Karen. But that was then. This
awesome.
Is now.
Oh, I finally have a home. I'm having a home for Christmas. I'm having a Christmas tree.
What a sweetheart. All right, that was Catherine Cook reporting there, and she tells us there are several ways you can donate to help the village to relocate, whether it's through that coffee, buying that coffee that we were showing you there, the Kenton Neighborhoods GoFundMe page, or go directly to Catholic Charities. We're going to post resources for all that stuff on KGW.com. So stick around. Still ahead, we want to show you a notification no one wants to get.
And it said Steve McDougal tagged you in a photo on Facebook. So, you know, he'd been dead for 4 years.
Next, KGW investigates a disturbing scam using the Facebook pages of people who have died.
A winter weather advisory in the Cascades and a winter storm warning to our south. We could also see some small hail in the valleys overnight. If you hear that on your window, that's what that is. We'll have more coming up.
All right, Brian, and don't forget KGW's Great Toy Drive is underway. We are hosting a collection event tomorrow. It's at the Jansen Beach Shopping Center from 11 until 3. Come down and meet some of us. Chris McGinnis will be there, Christine Pitawanich, Cassidy Quinn. They're going to be there from noon until 2. They'd love to meet you. If you can't make it this weekend, then don't worry. You can drop off a new unwrapped toy at any Regents, Wells Fargo, or local Toyota dealership. You can find a complete list of collection sites. There's a bunch of them. Visit kgw.com/toy. We'll be right back.